Richard Sheman is staying in the NFC West. He will reportedly sign a 3-year deal with the 49ers. The contract is full of incentives that could pay him nearly $40 million. Sheman was released by the Seahawks on Friday, then represented himself and signed with the 49ers. He told Peter King of Monday Morning Quarterback that he looks forward to playing the Seahawks twice a season, saying, quote, "I'm vengeful that way." Shannon, what do you make of those comments?
I can understand it, Skip, but I don't like when athletes or anyone use revenge or anger as a motivating factor. I don't think you should ever base a decision on revenge or anger. You read reports where he had 6 or 7 teams that were very interested. I think he should have, maybe Rich didn't want to get on the plane and be traveling here and there, and maybe he felt comfortable in this situation. But you knew that had a lot to do with it. He's very hurt. He's very disappointed that Seattle decided to move on from him. And maybe this is going to be his motivating factor to come back stronger and better than ever, to let the 49ers, let the Seahawks see what they gave up on. But it's hard for me to believe, Skip, that he couldn't have got at least what he got had he gone to some of these other teams. Like I said, maybe he did not want to travel, go to Green Bay or go to Detroit or some of these other teams that were listed that wanted to have an opportunity to sit down and talk to Richard Sheman. Also, I don't really like when athletes represent themselves, Skip, because they say a lawyer that represents himself has a fool for a client.
That is true.
I don't want to hear what you have. Let my agent hear all the bad stuff. You slowing down, you coming off an injury, this and that. I don't need to hear that, because I want to think that you always view me, even though I know it's not the case. I can convince myself that it is, that you view me in a positive light. But if I'm hearing you and you telling me these things, you're telling me the cold, hard truth. Sometimes you have to lie to athletes. Son, you're doing good, even though you're getting tore up, because you're trying to build him up. Skip, and looking at some of the numbers in this contract, Skip, I mean, it's 3 years, $39 million. But when you weave your way through it, he needs to be a first-team All-Pro. All 3 years.
Make $39 million and play every game.
Every game.
Okay.
So no, I'm not putting those kind of incentives in there, Skip. Every single game, all first-team All-Pro, make the Pro Bowl. Nah, for me, Skip, I was not a big incentives guy. Got incentives early in my career, obviously, Skip, because I'm a low-round draft pick. They throw some incentives in there, make me feel good. But then I started realizing my second contract, I put some incentives in there. I said, hold on, y'all messing with me. Had a situation, Skip, my 93. I needed 126 yards to get 1,000. Had 121 and 2 touchdowns at the half. You think I got that 1,000, Skip? From that point on, I walked up. Skip, we lost the game, because if we won the game, the Raiders would have come to us. We lost. They won the division. We had to go back to them. I said, I'll never get another contract and put incentives in it, because if I go to the Pro Bowl, I should. If I make All-Pro, I should. I just think Richard Sheman left something on the table. I think he let emotions and anger get the best of him in that situation, and I don't think that he should have done that. I think he should have taken a few more visits, and if he wants to circle back, Skip, free agency starts on the 14th. He's Richard Sheman. He's a Pro Bowl player. He's an All-Pro. It's hard for me to believe that he waits another 3 days. There will be less money than what it is right now.
Okay. So, what is the league saying to Richard Sheman? The whole league. I think the league is saying, and Richard decided this is the message being sent to him, the league isn't sure about him anymore. Even as he's only 30, but he is 30.
I think they
ruptured Achilles and some kind of bone spur on the other side ankle, on the heel.
Right.
So you got 2 surgeries. I don't know. And you said, well, he's made of the right stuff. Well, when it comes to the Achilles, as I told you the other day, I don't know. It's 50-50 whether you come back from it. And sometimes it's like genetics. It's like how your body heals. I hope it heals great. Sometimes it does. Sometimes it doesn't when it comes to this. You know it and I know it. And I can't predict it, because I've seen it go one way. We had D'Angelo Hall on, and then he was telling the story of he just walking at night to get a drink in the kitchen. He slips on one of his kids' toys and ruptured it again after surgery.
Yes.
it's very delicate what he's going through with his rehab. So is he going to get his $2 million reporting bonus for the first day of camp? I don't know.
If they
I
put
hope
him on
so.
PUP, it's over.
Yeah.
He doesn't get that.
That is correct. So this is incentive laden. This is heavy incentives where a whole lot of good stuff's got to happen, and maybe it will, for him to get what he deserves or what he was scheduled to get. 11 million.
Yeah.
11 million from the Seahawks. So look, he went to Stanford, so he knows the area, and they
feel comfortable in
they
that area.
train right there by Palo Alto, not
Correct.
very far south of Palo Alto.
Correct.
So he gets that. He loves that. The current San Francisco coordinator used to be his defensive quality control coach in Seattle.
Familiar.
Okay. But I told you the other day, Chris Richard, who coached Richard in Seattle from day one all through last year, in the last 3 years as the coordinator in Seattle, went to Dallas as the co-defensive coordinator with Rod Marinelli in charge of the passing game, passing defense.
Right.
Okay? So I thought, will Dallas bite here? Will they jump? Well, it's told me something. I don't think they were even in the mix here.
Yeah.
And then it told me a little something that reportedly San Francisco's first choice was your man, Aqib Talib. That's what I read. I don't know if that's true, but I think Adam Schefter had that. So I'm going to take that to my bank.
And they were talking because John Elway and John Lynch. A lot of what John Lynch knows, he got from John Elway because he let him sit in on draft and all those kind of things.
Reportedly, Talib nixed it because he wanted to play for either Wade Phillips with the Rams,
That's
we
correct.
played for obviously in Denver, or go back and play for Belichick in New England.
Yes.
Well, you can't blame him for that.
No.
So it comes down to San Francisco is desperate for a cornerback, and yet they didn't automatically say, Richard, you're worth $11 million to us here. Thank you very much.
No, they didn't.
And to your point, he could have played it out a little bit here.
Yes.
He could have played it out. I don't know. Who knows what would happen?
And I don't have a problem with what Sherman did, because here's the thing, and Skip, you know this, and this is what I tell athletes. When they ask you to take a pay cut, they're not expecting you to make plays like the pay cut you took. They're asking, the Seattle Seahawks wanted Richard Sherman to take a pay cut, but make $11 million plays at $5 million.
That is correct.
Richard says, okay, you know what? If I'm going to take a pay cut and I'm going to be required to make those type of plays, I'm going to go make them somewhere else other than right here. So.
And then what happened? Seattle just flat out cut him.
Yes.
They cut Richard Sherman.
Yes. It hurts. It does something to your psyche.
Yeah.
Remember, Indy did the very same thing to Peyton Manning. That hurts. You're talking about great, all-time great in what you've done for that organization.
And then what happened?
We done.
Ooh,
but Richard is betting on himself.
He is.
But he's betting on himself in a poker hand when he has 10 deuce offsuit. Now, I know Doyle Bronson won the World Series of Poker with a 10-2 offsuit, which is the worst hand you can get in poker, starting hand. Skip, that's an awful lot of betting, Skip.
It's a lot of betting.
That's a lot of betting.
And also, to Richard's point about I'm vengeful that way, well, the sequence is out of sequence, because the truth is, whatever fan backlash he got on Twitter occurred because he immediately flew to San Francisco and started negotiating with the 49ers.
Right.
And to Richard's point, it wasn't like he chose to do a LeBron or KD and leave. He didn't choose. They forced him out.
Right.
Okay? So we get that. But to be vengeful is for there to be a fan backlash, and you say, okay, screw you. I'm going to go to San Francisco. But he'd already gone to San Francisco.
Right.
So there's one picture of one guy burning his jersey on Twitter. I don't know, something. I saw the picture. I don't know. Does that mean every Seahawks fan burned their Richard Sherman 25? I don't think so.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. He shouldn't care. You already got the residuals from that jersey sale.
Okay.
So move on.
Move on.
Yeah, let it go.
Whatever. He loved his time in Seattle. They loved him, and I'm pretty sure they still will have love in their heart for Richard Sherman.
It is, because they drafted him.
Yeah.
They gave him an opportunity. He cut his chops. He made a name for himself in that organization, in that city. And at this point in time, that organization wanting to move in a different direction. If you notice, they're getting all those strong personalities. They're getting them up out of that locker room, Skip.
All
one by one.
Yep.
Eventually, they're going to remake this team, and it's going to be made to Russell Wilson's liking. It's going to be more encompassing of what he is and what he does really
well. It better be, because he's got all that's left.
That's all they got.
Right?
That's all they got.
Okay, so Richard goes to a team that has not been to the playoffs for 4 years, but is clearly on the rise.
I do believe.
Okay, and the last time we saw the 49ers in a glory moment was Colin Kaepernick trying to throw to Michael Crabtree with 30 seconds left in the NFC Championship game, and it was just a little too low. He didn't put enough air under it, and Richard got his hand on the ball and tipped it, and it got intercepted.
Yep.
Right? So that was the end of the 49ers in the Kaepernick era as we used to know them, right?
That is correct.
And that was it. So is he in the right place at the right time to get revenge?
Yes.
Maybe. They're probably a little better than Seattle right now. I think they are.
I believe so, and they have a boatload of money.
Yep.
I believe they will be active in free agency, and
Yep.
it looks like Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch knows what they're doing.
I believe they
and
do.
they will hit it in the draft. So this is an up-and-coming team, and like I said, but I just wish Sherm would have just take a couple of visits. You never accept the first offer, Joe. You know that. You don't accept the first offer.
Unless your heart is just set on playing for the 49ers.
Right.
I don't know. He obviously grew up in Compton, but he went to Stanford, so
Right.
maybe he's
Maybe he wanted to
back
be
in
in
the
the Cali.
Bay.
Yeah, maybe he wanted to be in the Cali area.
Yeah. Well, he just got to get healthy now.
Yeah.
I just do not understand the burning of the jerseys for someone that was cut. It just makes no sense to me.
Well, whoever burns it gets a lot of Twitter run, right?
Well, I mean, I guess that's the motivation.
Right.
You're literally burning money. Next up, a video surfaced on Friday of Odell Beckham Jr. in bed holding a brown